Welcome to the theme park rundown. And this week, we did tease it last week. What are we going to look at?
Like, why some people let the first sort of 10, 15 minutes of a day at a theme park ruin their whole day.
Yeah,
Or
basically.
what can ruin your day quite quickly.
What can ruin your day? So this is a multiple one. I always find that if you start the day really badly, you're generally in a bad mood for the day.
A lot of the time.
Even for us. And I
Yeah.
think it happens to everyone else as well. But why do we let that happen? Do we then... Is it psychological that if we have a crap entrance to a theme park, that's game over for the day? Regardless of what happens. Is it, that ride's broken down, even though I'm 200 metres from it and I'm not going on it?
Yeah.
I've looked on the app and this ride's closed. I was never going on it anyway, but it's closed. You know, is
Some
it
people
that
are
staff was rude, even though they're clearly on their break and they're not talking to us? You know, that staff I didn't think said thank you or please or just waved. You know, is it a case of, and is it a case of when you have a really happy entrance, you go, oh, that staff member's smiling.
Yeah.
Oh, that one, you know, come over and was quite chatty. I say it's a common thing that people remember the negatives more than they remember positives.
Yeah.
So what can ruin your day going into a theme park? I don't necessarily think we need to mention certain theme parks. It might be a bit unfair because there are obviously some quiet days where you get through Thorpe Park without having to stand in an hour queue.
Yeah.
Sorry to mention Thorpe Park straight away.
Yeah.
So we won't mention any theme parks
Yeah.
from now on.
Okay.
So what can ruin your day?
Long queues getting in.
Right, let's start before we get in. There's something we mentioned last week,
Well, the main entrance.
not knowing what entrance to go in on multi-entrance parks.
Yeah.
If you pull in,
It's mainly one park.
mainly one park. But it's not just one park. I can think of another park we mentioned as well that's got a dual entrance a little bit further up north,
Yeah.
where it's the same, you don't know what car park you're in. So, you know, if you pull into somewhere and you think you're at the entrance and you're not at the entrance, are you then frustrated that maybe 20 people have driven past you to go to the same theme park and
Yeah.
got 20 people in front of you?
Yeah, potentially.
Sounds ridiculous, but,
Yeah.
you know, that could
Just
annoy
more
you.
hassle, yeah.
Could annoy you. What else could annoy you before you've actually got to the gate?
Lack of signposting as well, but that sort of fits into the last one.
Yeah. It's the same two parks, oddly.
Yeah. But as I say, queues, because some queue out onto the roads at points.
Yes,
Without mentioning
so-
names, on busy days, some queue out half an hour onto the roads
Yeah.
to even get in. You're not even there yet.
Yeah.
You're queuing.
So queuing to get into the park.
Yeah. I mean,
Now it's a difficult one because we know to get there early. And a lot of people say it's a waste. Why arrive at a park at 8:30 when it doesn't open until 10? And it's like, because you will feel less frustrated when you get through the queues and you've waited inside
Yeah.
for things to open rather
Yeah.
than waited
and
outside.
we've been on 5 rides before you've got through security.
9 times out of 10, yeah.
So,
So
that's
there
why.
are reasons why
Yeah.
we do that, but it's not for everyone. So queues outside
Yeah.
undoubtedly can ruin your day.
Yeah. 100%.
Queues that aren't split properly. Again, I can think of a few parks where you all queue in one and then they just take random groups
Yeah.
to different areas.
Yeah.
And then what?
Well, sometimes how long that process takes. It's not. Some parks let you in early, some don't. It's never clear. Even
Yeah.
the same ones chop and change it a little bit.
Yep.
They change the time every week,
Yep.
so that could be a bit annoying.
I'm going to go for other people.
And other people, because sometimes
You're going to say what I'm going to say.
guests can ruin your day.
Well, why would they ruin your day at the front? I want to see if you're going to say what I'm going to say. It happened today, actually. That's unbelievable.
I don't want to say stupid people because that sounds terrible, but
That does sound terrible.
it is sometimes though. It is stupid people.
Sometimes. What were you my class as stupid? I'll be a little bit more diplomatic on this. So today,
Yeah.
I've entered Paulson's Park.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I've entered at like 1:30.
Yeah.
There's no one there. There's
Yeah.
about 10 people in the park. Mm-hmm. And there's 3 people that have rocked up to the entrance.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
People that don't have a ticket ready or anything.
That's exactly it,
Oh my god. I see people rustling through pretty much a suitcase sometimes to find their scrunched up bit of paper in the bottom that isn't even a valid ticket.
It's
Like
today.
You think it'd be the first
Honestly.
thing you have ready, yeah.
I've had a
You need to scan your ticket to get in, funny enough.
I've had a shocking couple of weeks, honestly. And I've rocked up today. There's no one there. There's
Yeah.
one lady. Yeah. No, one guy today. He recognised me, obviously. I'm always bloody there. And these 3 people have rocked up. two ladies and a kid,
Yeah.
and they're like, got right to the front. I wouldn't say they've rushed in front of me.
Yeah.
But they've made sure they're in front of me, got right to the front, got to the gate, he's like, scan your ticket. Oh, I'll just open my app. Got to wait for the app to load. Just find me ticket, that. Oh, I don't know if they're both on here. Are they both on here, do you know? She's got her own bloody ticket. She don't bloody know your phone. And then it's like, oh, here it is. Where's the other one? How do I... Oh yeah, I'll scroll across. Oh yeah, here they are. And I'm like, mate, what are you doing? And then the other woman's watching this unfold. They've scanned in, walked in, got your ticket. Oh yeah, let me just open my app. And I'm like, what have you been doing while she's been opening her app? Did you think you were just going to glide in, teleport or something? I was so angry.
But
I was so angry.
It's more annoying at first thing in the morning because you've been queuing for 45 minutes, half an hour.
Oh my God.
And you get to the front and their bit of paper's still in the bottom of the bag, or
Yeah.
they still haven't worked out how to get it on the app.
Yeah.
And sometimes they haven't even bought a ticket.
Sometimes I haven't bought a
They've
ticket,
not
yeah.
even bought a ticket and they're just trying to get through.
Yeah, I've got a booking code. Where do I go? The ticket booth. To get your ticket with your code. Who's got a bloody code in... Anyway, yeah. I'm annoyed now, not even at a theme park. That for me, I'm usually quite placid driving in.
Yeah.
I'm usually quite placid at the... if I go in the wrong car park, I'm like,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
I can usually gauge what day it is, what car park I'm going to be in these certain parks.
Yeah, yeah.
And I get to the entrance. I do sometimes get frustrated, particularly at the part we're not going to mention, which is Chessington, where they then split one line into 12,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
all of a sudden you're at the back of the queue. But we're not going to mention any parks, so
Yeah.
you'll just have to guess which Chessington
Another
park
thing
that
that
is.
annoys me in the morning is after a drive, I want to go for a wee when I get there.
Yep.
Not all of them have good facilities outside. In fact, most are quite terrible.
Some don't have any.
Yeah. But I hate it. You go in there in the morning to use the toilet and it is disgusting. And I mean, we're there and we're one of the first people at the park.
Yeah.
Do they not clean it before the morning?
Yeah.
And you go in there, there's no soap.
No.
Why is there no soap?
Yeah.
Then you've got to stand there with dirty hands to then go to another toilet when you get in because you want to wash your hands. Because obviously all the hand sanitizer things around are empty.
Yeah. I don't
How
think they're
hard-
around anymore, are they?
No, but how hard is it to
Yeah.
have a clean toilet with soap?
Yeah.
With soap.
But someone signed to say they checked it 5 minutes beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
probably...
what
that
you-
can be quite frustrating.
And what are you paying your cleaners to do
Yeah.
sometimes?
Especially if we've had a McDonald's on the way up, to be fair. I won't always go for a wee, but I'll go in and
Yeah.
wash my hands because
Yeah.
I'll spend a burger.
Yeah.
Maybe a McMuffin. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can be frustrating. I
Yeah.
get that. Okay. But these are the... We don't want to go through the day. We could go through the day with queue jumpers and things, but it's just what sets your day out as you enter the park or as you approach the
Because
park.
I am immediately in a bad mood if we get there 45 minutes early and then I'm stood there and I can't wash my hands.
Yeah.
And I've got nowhere to wash my hands.
Or if I've got in the front
Not
of
got any
if
hands
I've got like 12 people at the back of the queue and all of a sudden 25 million people are in front of me because they've split the queue at a really weird pace rather than saying, guys, you could just queue.
Yeah.
So that's annoying.
Yeah.
Security.
Security, yeah. I mean, some parks you breeze through. Some don't even have security.
No,
And
I
then-
don't know.
I think you should have something. But some of them are excessive.
The necessity of security is a weird one
Yeah.
because it's down to the clientele in which they, I'm not expecting to go into Paultons and get stabbed.
No.
On Friday nights, am I expecting to go to Fort Park and get stabbed? Well, that's security, possibly, yeah.
I still think the chances are so slim.
I think they are limited, yes.
I think it's very, very slim.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it.
No.
I mean, security is annoying. I think the biggest, you learn, but I get for first-time visitors is that, my weight fluctuates depending on what mood I'm in. And sometimes I need to wear a belt on my jeans and sometimes I don't. If I've got a belt on at Fort Park, I've got to take the belt off.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think it's the lack of consistency because some are like leave it on because I can see what level
it's the only
at.
place.
Some are like no, and then some are like cover your watch. Some are like hold your arm in the air. Some are like take your watch off.
Yeah.
I think it's the lack of consistency at some
Yeah.
of them as well. But some of them and the queues get ridiculously long.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it can be frustrating.
It can be frustrating.
It can be.
So the big question is, and it's funny, when I read complaints on TripAdvisor, and I still think we should do an episode reading
we were gonna do
TripAdvisor
that.
complaints.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to do that
We need to do that.
without names. We'll just read some and either laugh or go, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So we will do that, and we'll pick 5 from every park of the last 20, just to give it a variety.
Yeah. Okay.
And we will do that, and we'll just
Just
laugh.
bad reviews, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We'll pick 5 from every park from the last 20 to 30
Yeah.
that have been rated on TripAdvisor. That's coming.
Yeah.
But I think psychologically, when you read these reviews,
Yeah.
it always starts with, I had to queue at the entrance.
Yeah.
It never starts with, I'll tell you what, entrance was amazing. I got in, and then, I got hit by a football or something. I don't know. It always starts at the entrance. Every single one starts at the entrance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it always ends with, I had to pay for parking, if there's a complaint, generally.
Yeah.
It's always the same 2 things. So
Yeah.
you know that person...
Shouldn't have to pay for that quality of a car
No,
park.
exactly. Yeah, I've parked
Yeah.
in the car park. I shouldn't have to pay for that. And my first impression was I drove over.
Why am I paying to park in
But
a
then
field?
there'll be loads of bits in the middle. You never really get
Yeah.
one saying, I rocked up at the park. Security was rubbish. I spent hours getting in. Blah blah blah. And then they stop.
Yeah.
It's always then gone, well, I queued for this ride and it broke down after an hour and I didn't get, but they always start with the entrance.
Yeah.
Every single one starts. And hopefully we're going to be validated on that when we go through the reviews, in fairness. So it's quite obvious, and I'm sure people can relate to this, that if you have a crap entrance to a theme park, it ruins your day.
Yeah.
But why? Is that psychological?
I think it's psychological. I mean, I used to be a little bit like that. I have got over it now.
Yeah.
And even I've got over it in terms of the whole day. If one bad thing happens, I don't let it ruin the day anymore. Whereas I used to, even if it'd be 4 o'clock, I almost let it ruin the whole day for the last hour or 2.
Yeah.
But now I just try to forget about it. Because we go so often, you have to.
Yeah.
All these little things will
And
wind
we
you
might
up.
be lucky, I get it, because on that point, we do go quite a lot. So we are quite lucky, and we do have bad days out.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we
It is
don't.
rare though, isn't it?
It is rare that we walk away and go, that whole day was rubbish.
Yeah, we always find some positives.
We do find some positives. And we don't do that on purpose. We do that because, and I say this, a lot of people comment and go, I had this, what do you think of this, what do you think of this? And I always say to people, the day is what you make of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing else.
100%.
If there's a ride closed, you need to make a quick decision, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you genuinely feel you've been in the queue for an hour and you didn't get fast track, and you've had to leave the queue, honestly, don't waste your time at guest services. Go to the next ride, do everything once the park's closed. Write in and go, I had this, I only managed to get on this, and then review it there. Do not waste time during opening hours moaning at guest services. It's just not worth it.
I think it depends. Because
Unless everything's closed.
if you're
But then everyone will be there.
I'm going to use Tower as an example. They've got 4 or 5 different guest services huts.
Okay.
So you tend not to queue. So if I've just been in the Nemesis queue and kicked out after an hour and given no fast track, I'm going to the one opposite Nemesis because there'll be no queue really, I will tell them and they'll just give you a fast track. And I'll go use it on Galactica.
I think we'll just use Alton Towers as an exception. Because it's the only park that's got multiple guest services.
I think, and because of the size of it, I do think you could use it there.
If
certainly.
a park is having a relatively bad day and people have managed to get caught into it, there is no way you want to go into any guest services. You just want to write in afterwards and go, this happened, this happened, and usually they'll offer you something.
But there are a couple of parks which won't respond to your email.
There are a couple?
So I think it depends where you are. I'm not going to mention names, but I think it depends where you are.
Potentially, yeah.
Like the Merlin parks, if you email in, you'll get something.
I think you'll
at least get replies and you will get something, an apology. And you will at most parks. Drayton are really good.
Yep.
But there is a handful of parks that I would worry if I'm going to get a response, to be honest.
Most parks know if they've had a really bad day.
And they just issue
and then they go,
free tickets.
By the way, guys, sorry, hands up.
Yeah.
You don't need to get involved in it.
Yeah,
you can just try and make the most of your day.
Yeah, most of the time.
But why do we let it ruin our day?
I just think...
Because, if I've had a crap
sets you
entrance
off.
to a park, and it does happen, I go, I'm going to my ride.
Yeah.
I'll go to my ride. I'll ride once, and I'll go, I'm all right now. Where a lot of people will go, I had to queue 10 minutes for that.
Yeah.
I've got off, and
I think
there's hours.
some people are master their own downfall, I think.
Is that because, as well, people think that when they go Easter, we've just had Easter, it's going to be quiet?
Yeah.
People are
sometimes,
Park's
people
really busy.
don't research or look into things. But then there's some people that we see that you say, go into Towers in the morning, right? And they'll have a 6-hour mothers meeting right in front of you.
Yep.
Then they'll go get a coffee.
Yep.
maybe a pastry.
Yeah. Which we
Quick
like.
20-minute look around the shop.
Yep.
It's now 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Oh no, Wickerman's got a high hour and a half queue.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm fuming.
We've seen this.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
It's a nice pastry, though.
I was like, you could have walked over there.
Yeah.
And got on it, got your coffee in a bit.
Yeah.
But then what I said a minute ago, didn't I, before we started filming, is should more places have a facility
But then-
beforehand? Because there are a lot of adults,
Outside
especially
the
with
front,
kids, that
yeah.
really want a coffee in the morning.
I think outside the front. So
Everyone should have somebody get a hot
we're
drink.
trying to figure it out, and I think it's only Paulton's that have a cafe outside the front.
And I included Thorpe because I get if you queue for security, maybe not.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, if you get there at like 9, you can go in and you can get a coffee.
But technically,
whereas most
Paulton's-
places you can't until you're through the gate.
Paulton's, you can rock up to the car park, you can walk over, buy a donut and a coffee, and drive out
Yeah.
if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I do find that weird. Now, Thorpe Park used to have
Yeah.
the one outside the front, didn't it? Which was serving bacon rolls and then serving hot dogs in the afternoon. Yes, it was. That truck they had out the front.
Don't understand why
And it
we haven't got
disappeared.
this kind of thing.
It disappeared, and it wasn't that long ago. It was
Like Legoland's got
Posts.
huts now for when you leave, but why in the morning
they
can
not
they
open?
not have a hot drinks machine?
yeah.
And some croissants. They can literally be defrost croissants and a hot drink
And
machine.
this
It'd be
goes the
easy.
same as well. I'll say this as well because you're the worst at this. Is the refill cups for Merlin. So you say about towers, you insist on us getting activated before we go to Wickerman every time.
Yeah.
So why can't you buy those outside? Have them activated to walk into the park, a quick stop at the machine, and then you don't have to wait, queue in the shop, get it activated, pay. You know, it feels like they're missing a trick. How many coffees? I mean, for the people that arrive at...
Thorpe's the best for it because you go in and technically you can get coffee.
better
but
once you're
I
in.
can get a freestyle
Yeah.
activated and fill it up in the dome before they actually open the park.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, I get that.
But
And
some of the
arguably
park-
you can in towers, I guess. But where you
Yeah.
can pre-queue for like
Yeah,
Wickerman,
yeah.
it's not quite so good.
Whereas Legoland, you'd have to go to the sweet shop on the way down the hill,
Yeah.
or Chesington. You can get it done just as you go in, but then you're 30 minutes further back in the Fury queue.
I was going to say, you're screwed then.
Or you can go on Fury, and then you could get it done, but then instead of running to Rattlesnake for a 5-minute queue, you might
Yeah.
get there and it might have a 20.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I feel like you lose some momentum.
It feels like all these parks should have something outside.
Yeah.
And it would cheer everyone up. I'd be so happy if I I'm going to get a hot chocolate in the morning. But you just think of all the people that arrive at Chesington at 9 o'clock. You're telling me they wouldn't buy a coffee at 9 and then buy one again when they get in at 10?
Yeah, they would.
Of course they would.
Like, there's metal huts
they
outside
would.
Legoland. They have great deals in the afternoon. If in the morning I could just get a regular hot chocolate for
£3.
£2.50, £3
Yeah.
quid with a pass.
Yeah.
And even sometimes we'd be tempted by a croissant for a couple of quid if we
Yeah.
were peckish in the morning.
Even a vending machine.
Yeah.
So Chesington actually does have vending machines outside the front, doesn't it?
Yeah, but they on?
On the bottom, hotel end.
Oh, yeah. But they're not always on.
Not usually, no.
But,
And then again, when you get into the entrance bit, remember at Christmas when we wanted a drink, we couldn't find one?
Yeah.
They weren't on either. No. But they're hit and miss.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are.
But if you could go in and like the metal
Yeah.
things which Legoland have, if you could go in the morning and activate your freestyle there for the day,
Yeah.
or even they got guest services before the gates, can they not have a freestyle
Yeah.
thing in there? And a card
So
payment machine?
this is one of my frustrations. It doesn't necessarily set me off in a bad mood for the day, but I do wonder why they're not more prepared. Whereas Paulton's, you can go, you can get a pastry for breakfast, you can get a coffee before you enter, go in the queue, and then walk in and the cafe's open if you want another one. It's just
or
absolute
you can be
no-brainer.
fueled, ready to run straight to a
And
ride
this
and
is
not
what
have to stop
I don't
for a
get
drink.
about Blackpool, because they've actually got the huts around the outside. They just don't open them because you don't enter that part now. So it's like, why have they not got a little coffee shop?
Can you buy in the shop? Can you get snacks at a cold drink
I think
in the
you
shop?
can get a cold drink in a shop.
And maybe like some crisps or something.
I think so. That is quite good.
It's something. It's more than the other parks.
Yeah, it's more than the other
Essentially.
parts. So
I suppose-
find it
I
staggering.
suppose at Chesington, if you're in the bottom car park, you could walk into the hotel because there's like a cost
Your
of
first
thing and
time
stuff.
visitor's not doing it.
No. And
Yes,
it's
you
hassle.
are right.
It's hassle.
You are right. You could go into the hotel.
But if we got there at 9, we could do
But I'm
that.
just thinking that Fort Park had that bacon butty outside. I cannot believe that didn't make money. I cannot believe that their clientele were not getting
Yeah, 'cause they
bacon
could do.
butties on the way in.
They could
They've
do.
only got to sell, 100 out of the
Yeah.
10,000 people that come through for it to be worth it?
But a bacon butty for a £5 or £7 with a hot drink or
Yeah.
something, I'd pay that. With
cannot
discount.
believe-
People would.
I cannot believe they can't make money from that. So yeah, that frustrates me that we get a McDonald's on the way because
Yeah.
there's no breakfast when you get to the park. Really.
Can we just all get a Greg's outside the entrance? That would do it.
Yeah,
Fine. That'll do me fine.
Yeah.
Get an agreement with Greggs. Just put one outside the front of every entrance.
Killing though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, imagine that.
They could kill it. I mean, once you get into Legoland again, because you can go to the cafe shop in Legoland before you can go further down.
Yeah.
Pastries, no problems, everything like that. So yeah, that sets me off before does it put me in a bad mood for the day? No.
No.
But I can see that some people do say, I get to the park, I can't get a coffee, the shops aren't open, the restaurants aren't open, where can I get this, There are some parks you walk in, you can't get anything till 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah. No.
And that is frustrating.
Fully agree.
And that actually takes your first 10 minutes a little bit further into the day.
Yeah.
So we let it stick with us, I guess, because, I don't know, people remember negatives more than they do positives, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is...
I also think another thing, some parks you get to the gate and then you've got a little board telling you what's closed that day. And they weren't on the website before you got there.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we don't want to mention
Not all the parks have the signs out the front, but a couple do have a sign saying these rides aren't open today.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they're not on the website, you kind of straight away you look at it and you go,
yeah.
And then for the whole queue, for half an hour getting in, you're just thinking, oh, bloody shut.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Should I bothered coming today?
So,
Would I bother coming today? Does that ruin your day? Might ruin your
Some
day?
people, yeah. Especially first-time visitors that wanted to go on it.
Yeah.
And stuff. But obviously, everything's subject to availability. But it's still not great. You look at the sign straight away and go, oh, before you're even in.
So, yeah, I get that. I think Fort Park are having it at the moment, aren't they? With a certain accelerator coaster, which hasn't opened this week. Yeah, I get it. I don't know, what do people think? This is a bit short, this one.
Yeah.
Because we just want to say that, don't let the first
you can't
10, 20 minutes dictate your day. And I think when we go through the TripAdvisor reviews, it's going to become really obvious that everyone always starts a bad review at the entrance. Generally.
We'll find out.
We'll find
We'll
out.
do 5 for each major
That's
park.
what I think. That won't be the next one. But we will do it once you're back from holiday. So Kurt's off to Florida.
Yes, in a couple of days for 14 nights.
Yeah, I've browned up in Benidorm. So I will be going for the opening day of Paw Patrol, which will have happened already.
Yeah, I will not be there. I'll miss it just like I did with Jumanji.
Cody's going.
But I will be back a couple of days before Valgard.
Yeah, so this will be up before Valgard.
Yeah.
And
we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be at Valgard.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah, we'll be,
Can't wait. Right, shorter one this time. We're under a bit of pressure where Kurt's obviously going on holiday. And, we just want to touch on it because it's something I don't think it's mentioned that don't let it ruin your day.
No,
do something else.
You can't
do something else. Right, that's the theme park rundown for this week. We will be back next week. I don't know whether it's going to be a pre-recorded one before you go away or not, but you'll find out.